What is going on, everyone? Welcome to this week's episode of Indy and Doctor. I'm back after a week hiatus. Hope
Guess
everyone's
who's
doing
back?
well. Yeah,
Back
just a little
again.
quick one. I'm really sorry if there's loads of like loud noises and people voices that are getting picked up on the mic because I can't help it. We have people over, and this is the only chance that me and Karan could do for the podcast this week. So
Punjabi
you
word
might
for
be
today.
able to hear some random Punjabi in the background. If you can, bonus points if you DM us and tell us what it means. Thank you.
Indy has praune. Praune meaning the guests.
The guests.
The guests. But this is like your family. But you kind of broke my flow, man. I was giving you like a little intro there. Guess who's
Go
back?
on.
Back again.
Oh, Eminem, yeah?
Indy's back.
No,
Tell a friend. Oh,
no,
this
it's
is
tell a
good.
friend, not hello friend.
I said tell a friend.
You said hello friend.
Your ears, we've established in this podcast, do not work, okay? your back doesn't work. Your bowels don't work. Your ears don't work.
You know what's mad? I need to have surgery on my wrist.
His wrist doesn't work.
Yeah,
Tell us about
I
the
need
wrist.
to have
What's
surgery
the
on it.
what have you done to your wrist?
So last year, lockdown, our friend Harpal, he was really on it for doing like pull-ups and stuff and press-ups, like a
Okay.
home workout. So he called me in the middle of the day and say, yo, let's do a quick workout. I was like, all right. So I joined in and I was like, yo, my wrist is hurting. He's like, it's fine, man. Just power through it, power through. I was like, okay, bro science. And then naturally, I kept doing press-ups like the whole of lockdown anyway, and it just got worse and worse. So if I put my wrist into flexion like that, it hurts. And if I push into it, it really hurts. I saw a physio about it. He said, give it a chance to heal. Just do press-ups on your knuckles, which is what I did.
Oh,
Did press-ups on my knuckles, which is fine. I prefer that. But then I said, yo, I can't even put my wrist in flexion ever again. I can't live like that because that's
Right.
shit. This is
Right.
like, I can't do this and push anything into it. It just hurts. I said, I can't do that. I can't do yoga, for example, because a lot of it's on that. I can't do...
How do you open
What else
doors
is
that
there?
you need to push?
I can open doors and stuff, that's fine. But say if I need to do any exercises that involve me being on my hands, I can't do it.
Right.
Because if I do, I get a searing pain in my wrist.
Okay.
So I gave it a year. I did the exercises and stuff to strengthen it. It didn't really fix it. So I've now been referred to a specialist who's basically said, yeah, the physio has told me the specialist is going to say you're going to need some kind of surgical procedure to fix it. I was like, okay, cool.
How do you feel about that?
Yeah, it is what it is, man. As long as it gets sorted, I don't really care. I could still go to the gym and stuff. I just wouldn't be able to go climbing.
That's got to be painful. I know how you love being Spider-Man.
I do, man. It's fun. We went yesterday and that was fun, and I was exhausted today. But yeah, man, it is what it is. I don't mind having issues with I don't mind having a problem with pain if the pain can be fixed.
Right.
It's when the pain can't be fixed and I don't know what it is. That's what gets to me. So when it comes to my back, I'm like, I can't figure it out. Some days are good, some days are really bad. I just can't clock it.
How about pain in the dill, man?
What about heart pain? Oh, heart pain.
man.
Well,
Heart
I
pain,
get
that probably
heartburn
fixes it.
from eating Indian food. But
Heart
that's
pain to
normal.
heartburn.
Heart pain, heartburn, same thing really. What's the difference? Heart pain,
Yeah.
brother, we've all felt that. We've all felt that
Yeah,
at some
man.
point. It's the worst
How
kind of
were
pain.
your energy levels yesterday, man? I know that we were together on Saturday.
I
We
felt
went for-
I felt really tired. Like I woke up and I was
man.
really tired.
Oh,
I didn't sleep
washed
well
out,
either.
man. We all slept late. I mean, it was a housewarming party.
Yeah, so
Which is
for
really
context, we all went to Harper's housewarming party because he bought a house, and we were all just there till about 1-2 in the morning.
Easily, right? Like, I think things are winding down about midnight, and then,
Excuse me. Yeah.
There we go. Nose doesn't work either. As
Sorry,
we alluded
Shindy.
to
Sorry
in
for the
the,
audio. Sorry, please don't kill me. Sorry.
in the previous episode about Indian circles and how we just can't say bye. Our inability to say bye. So yeah, and then the thing is, I was saying this to Shindy, that's my wife, guys, that so you sleep late, right? But if you still get the same number of hours in as you'd normally have,
Yeah.
you'd think, oh, it's fine, right?
Doesn't work.
No. This happens when you get old, man. Like that, your body is like, what the hell are you doing? Don't sleep this late. Don't wake up this late. And yeah, so I had a coffee in the morning on Sunday. Didn't really. I think I had a little bit of a buzz, and then just the rest of the day, I was just flagging, man.
You still get a buzz
No.
after coffee?
Back in
I don't. I mean, I
Yeah,
very
but
rarely
buzz
drink
as
it.
I get wired, and my mind gets really sharp. And if I have a lot of tasks to do, I can be like bang, 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 bang until I need to pee, right? And then it starts to wear off.
Interesting.
I was a bit tired yesterday.
Yeah, I was shattered, man. I felt like it had been like a really heavy evening. It felt like, honestly, it felt like I had a hangover the next day. Because I was like, yo, I feel.
Did you drink?
No, I didn't drink at all. I was like, I felt like I had a hangover, and I was like, this made me think that maybe the hangover thing is just a lack of sleep and not necessarily the alcohol.
The alcohol. Well, you got to remember, with the alcohol, a lot of what alcohol does is what makes you pee, yeah? So the over-peeing is causing dehydration. The dehydration is adding to your fatigue and headaches. That's why. That's primarily why. You've just lost so much water.
But it's also, it's a diuretic, isn't it? And the second you break that seal, it's finished.
Same as coffee, man. Like, if you overdrink coffee and you're not replacing it, then that's going to happen as well. Yeah.
But most people, I think one thing I saw with a few of the guys was that they were drinking whiskey and water. Right. And they didn't have as much as a hangover the next day because the water was a bit of hydration, I guess.
Yeah.
But I don't buy it. I think everyone's different.
There was a big thing, probably early 2000s, still happens but less so, where people were paying for IV drips after going out.
That still happens now. It works.
Still, no, it does happen. Less popular. Very big in London, though, I will say. Less so around where we are.
It's big in America as well.
Yeah, oh man, America, they do everything. There was a craze where they went through, you could pay to have oxygen. You go to a bar, an oxygen bar, and they put a mask on you, just like, yeah, man, I'm getting the oxygen. It doesn't do anything. But placebo, like proper placebo, people pay for that, right? So, like what's happening in India and the crisis, and we can't give enough oxygen. So, like, that's what they were doing. Just tanks of oxygen, just people having it. And then, so people having a cannula, so which is a little plastic device which goes, you can see my vein there, going in your vein and giving you a drip. And the whole point being it's hydration, So these people have got work the next day, they want to be wired. Kind of like, what they show in Wolf of Wall Street with Leo, and he talks about his morning routine. He's like, I have my uppers and downers. So, like, he'll have certain drugs and eye drops and all this stuff. People can have all this stuff just to get. Michael Jackson, towards the end of his life, he said the same thing. I was reading something where he said he had the inability to sleep normally. So he would, the whole thing, the thing he died from, propofol.
Yeah.
Propofol is a drug that we use when, say, your wrist operation, and say the surgeon says, well, you need general anesthetic, i.e. we're going to put you to sleep. Not local anesthetic where you're awake, general. Part of that kind of, in what we call the induction sequence to get you to sleep, we use propofol, right? That white liquid. Yeah. And so Michael was using some of that, clearly was administered by his medical team, to get him to sleep. Now, normal sleep, closing your eyes, is not the same as medically induced sleep. I mean, we shouldn't use the word sleep.
It's you don't feel fresh.
Rested.
You feel worse.
Absolutely. But that was the only way he could some sort of kind of switch off for him. And then they were saying, the show he was going to do, the 50 shows at age 50, This Is It, I think it was called. So he basically was then injecting things to get him up so he could do the performances. And I can't remember which program I saw this in, but basically they were saying, obviously, when you use these drugs, you don't want to be able to see the marks. So they were using one of the veins above his knee. So obviously it was covered, right? So not using it on his arms and things. And he was constantly going up and down, up and down, up and down. And it's really sad, man. It's really sad he got to that state. Again, a relatively young man.
This was him training for the shows, didn't he? When he overdosed, he was just training for them. He wasn't even doing it.
Yeah, exactly. But it was a lot, man. 50 shows, 50 days in a row, 50.
50 days in a row? I thought it was some gaps in the middle.
Okay, maybe, I'd have to fact check that. But it was pretty intense, man. Like, it was, his performances are pretty ham. And that was the only way you could do it. And it's really sad, man. And I think it's important that people look at that and understand that you can do all these things, right? Like, okay, we can say coffee's a drug, Coca-Cola's a drug, and all these things. And fine, in moderation, these things are fine. But when it goes to such extremes, bloody hell, man, then you're just like, please, just can I go to sleep? Like, if that's what he was wishing for, like the simplest thing in the world, this man could buy anything, right? And he's just wishing for, please, can I go to sleep normally?
A lot of artists say that they have issues coming off the road from being that intense, performing in front of that many people, and then just going home to silence. They say the adrenaline drop and the energy drop is really difficult to cope with.
The contrast.
And a lot of them need like weeks to acclimatise back to normal, because you're so up and down every day. You kind of not get used to it, but you expect it.
Like the
and
buzz,
man. You like the buzz. You know what comes off it. You get a bit of depression afterwards. Because you're like, I've seen all those people, now I've got nothing.
I can relate to that, you know, in the same way when we used to train for Bhangra competitions.
That's not the same. That's not the same.
No, it is. No, but look, we're never going to be at that level, so we got to look at things that we can relate with, right? So that's one example for me. Or if I do a course with Paran, right, that weekend, I am buzzed, man. And then it gets to Monday, and I'm like, oh, man, there's no running around, there's no, like, stress. It's good stress, isn't it? That, or if I'm doing...
medical courses, right?
Yeah, medical courses, or if I'm doing coaching calls, right? There's a buzz when I know I've got somebody booked in for a call, and then coming off the back end of it. So I understand what you mean. It's very hard. Like, who was I speaking to recently? Oh, that was it. So last week when we were in Wales, right, the guy whose property it was, he was essentially brought up in Cardiff, really busy city, banker, and now he's just basically gone to this rural place that we were staying. And I was like, how did you acclimatize, right? Like, don't you find this pace of life really slow? And he was like, yeah, like when I first came here, it was really tough. Like I'd do all my tasks when there was nothing to do. He's like, now I just do, like I do gardening. I actually sit out in the garden and just read. Like he's had to get to this point where he's content now and his pace of life is a lot slower. So yeah, I can imagine, man, these guys being on the road. Same probably, you're a big basketball player. So they're on the road a lot of the time, but there is an off season.
No, it's different. It's different because if you're on the road and stuff, so one thing I've heard about basketball players is that when they get home, they're actually excited to get home because they get to spend time with their family. They don't have to be around the team all the time. They don't have to commute in and go everywhere, get on flights. All they've got to do is just be at the training facility, get to your game a couple of hours prior on time, and then you go home. You're still in front of an audience. You're still in front of a crowd, whether it's home or away. But a lot of them prefer to not be on the road. But some of their road trips are brutal. Like they have 13 games on the road, and you're just taking domestic flights everywhere, and there's just no rest.
13 games is like what kind of time period? Is that a game a week?
13 games over like 2 weeks, two and a half weeks. There might be like
games. Wow.
There might be like a few gaps in between, maybe 3 weeks. Okay, maybe 3 weeks to factor in all the traveling and stuff. But what the NBA does try and do is that if they go to like one coast, they'll try and keep them there to get as many games as possible done out there and then come back out. So they try and make it easier. Yeah, so you're not going back and forth all the time, but it's still grueling. Like it does wear on players, especially when you haven't got home comforts and you've only got to sort yourself.
You know, like I saw this in the, Jordan's show, Save the Last Dance, right? I think there was a bit where he talked about Jordan's Netflix show. Netflix, Jordan.
You mean the Last Dance, not Save the Last Dance?
Okay, I mean, that's clearly something else.
Bro, Save the Last Dance is like
a film, isn't it?
That's a film, man.
The Last Dance, right? The Last Dance. In there's a bit where he talks about he wanted some food. It was a pizza or something, like 2-3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, so he had the flu game, and he got food poisoning. Yeah, and it was dodgy pizza.
And that was it. And I was just thinking about how, again, when you look from the outside, you must think, oh my God, this life is so cool. Business class with your boys or your friends, and you're just traveling and the food is free. And
you can see in the documentary he's sitting in his room and he's like, the second I step out that door, it's like I have to put a different face on. Like there's so many people out there that want to see me. He said, this is the only peace I get in this room. And I just looked at him and I was like, I feel sorry for you, man, because that's hard. Like all those cameras in his face, and every he walks to a venue, he's got like 15, 16 cameras in his face. The light shining on him, and I was like, geez, man, that's tiring. He must mentally check out in order to cope.
Yeah, man, and to be at that level for such a high, long length of time, and to hold it down, and to have very few kind of breakdowns, let's say, with all that spotlight. Fair play to him, man. Fair play to him. I remember in the opening scene of the film Taken, which I love, there's a bit where what's the main guy's name, the actor?
Liam Neeson,
yes. I think there's a singer, the one he protects in the opening scene. And then he says, oh, my daughter wants to be a singer. And then she gives that advice and she's like,
don't do it.
After a while, it's just like hotel rooms and random places. And it's just the allure, isn't it? The allure. The grass is always greener. When it's like, Saturday, man, we got together with our good friends. I remember you were sitting next to me at the table. We'd come in from the barbecue. And I looked at the clock on the left-hand side, that really funky clock. And I was like, is that really the time? We'd got there 4 o'clock. Yeah, let's say half.
You got there at 4, I got there about 5:30, 6. Yeah.
Okay. And then it was like 9:30? And I was like, gone. Where did the time go, man? Like,
and it was still really light outside.
That's
what's great about it. It's quality, man. You can't. We've all missed that, haven't we? Just sort of like gathering and stuff.
And chilling.
It's quality, man.
It was so good. And so what did we do? Paul showed us his gym. So that was really funny.
He built his own mini gym in the garage.
All the boys went from one place, all the girls went the other place. That was funny. Hanik was showing us his electric car. Did you get a chance to see his electric car?
What electric car?
Right, so I think this is when a couple of us broke off from the gym, and I think we just went to the front of the house, and Hanik was telling us how he sold his Audi A5, and now he's got a fully electric car lease. And
Which car?
I was just, I don't know, it's just, I can't remember the brand, but I was just so impressed. Like, I was like, so how do you charge it? And he's like, oh yeah, look, here's like a normal plug. You can put it into a normal wall and fast charge, I don't know, 20 minutes to an hour or something. 170 miles. He's like, yep, I can go to London. He's like, so if I was paying like electricity, if I had to put it into cost, it's like £6 there and back to London. And I was like, wow.
That's so cheap.
Do you know what I mean? I was like, this is definitely the future.
But it also means that with a range like that, I want something with a bit more range. Because say if you...
Yeah.
Like, to London and back is about... Well, if I go to Sandries, it's about 140 odd miles. So I just have a little bit spare to maybe potentially run an errand if I need to on the way.
Yeah, I think A, you need more range, and B, then you got to start being tactical about.
Yeah, but that's really good for domestic. Definitely good for domestic driving.
You could do everything on that.
That could last you for like a good week.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I guess and if you're at home and you're doing like work commuting and stuff, then you probably have a charge port there anyway, and you'll be charging every day.
Do you ever just find yourself like getting annoyed with having to charge stuff? Like, I've got to charge this laptop, I've got to charge my phone, I've got to charge my headphones, then I've now got to charge my car, then I've now got to charge up, like, just everything just needs electricity now.
Yeah, you're talking, I mean, from the environment is obviously a good point, but you're saying from the...
I'm saying from like an inconvenience point of view, innit? I think if somebody can fix long-lasting charge on devices, that will make life a lot easier.
Long-lasting charge.
Like... At the moment, it's maybe a week or something, but at the moment it's daily for a lot of your appliances. If it was like a week, then it's like, oh shit, okay, now we're talking.
I'm just trying to.
But obviously, everything's going to get chunkier. It's going to get bigger, isn't it? So
it just everything takes more, isn't it? Like, we look back at the old Nokias, and they would last like a week, but then functionality. But
they had no functionality. Yeah, it didn't need a lot of battery.
So it's a trade-off, isn't it? But like my iPhone now, it'll be charged once a day at night, so that's the first thing. So always check the the healthy battery. I had that old iPhones. I'm quite a big proponent of.
Your one was. I'm surprised you kept it for so long.
The 7, right? Yeah, the 7 before this, right? 5 years, because I'm not someone who just keeps buying. Frugal, mate. Frugal. Okay.
No, shut up.
Right, Frugal. But what I did do is I think I had to change the battery once, and then the other thing that happened with it is, when you put the wire in, you should get a click. This is a really good tip, by the way. I learned this from the Apple guys. Over time, basically, you get crap in there. A bit like, in your belly button, you get belly button fluff. You may not know it's there. There, right? And basically, I lost the ability to get the click. I didn't know about the clicking sound anyway, this afterwards, but it would charge, uncharge, charge, uncharge. And I thought it was the wire, so I kept changing the wire, doing all these funny angles to try and get it in. And then I took it to the Apple store, and then he had this like little pincer thing, right? And he was like, give it to me. The genius guys are just... You come there for an appointment, and one guy comes with the iPad. He's like, "Oh, hi, this Jazz." I was like, "Yeah." And then he'll disappear. It's like that film with Matt Damon when they walk through the doors, and the other one comes in. I can't remember the name of the film. But they wear hats and they can walk through doors and they end up anywhere. Yeah. And then you'll be there, and then he'll just appear. This guy is like, "I am the genius." I'm like, "Okay." He's like, "What is the issue?"
Hi, I am the genius. Just summons himself and rises up out the floor.
Yeah. Right. And they're all in white, aren't they? So it's very like godly, isn't it, in the Apple store? And he's like, bang, pinches in, took this thing out, bang, wire working. So those are two things I had to do. Anyway, come back to the original point. So once a day for this. MacBook. So the way I view my MacBook is there are a certain number of places where I'm going to be working. At those points, I need to have a permanent charger. I do not like
you're the convenience guy of having you have a charger upstairs and downstairs.
Yeah, exactly. And a third one, which is my mobile one, which just stays in a pack somewhere, right? So my wireless, not mic, keyboard and mouse, they're pretty good. They're pretty good from Apple. Like, I rarely have to charge those, so clearly they're not taking up.
Yeah, those are really good.
Much.
You don't tend to have an issue with those.
No.
Tend to charge it like once a month or something.
Yeah. If that, and it's more, then I'll just plan in my charges. If I'm doing all my stuff, I'm going somewhere. What else? And then I carry a battery power pack for my phone. That's mainly something I adopted when I went traveling, like the need to just have access to it. So it's got 2 ports. I can charge 2 phones.
Yeah.
That's excellent. I'm looking. I mean, what would be great is if I had something like that for my MacBook, like some sort of portable charger. But it takes a lot.
It needs a lot of voltage in order to charge it, doesn't it?
Yeah. And that's the issue. I haven't invested in one of these things, but I know people have like these charging plates. You just put things on them. And they're wirelessly charged?
They're decent, you know. I've got it on mine, but the problem is that I have to take the case off my phone in order for it to charge. That to me is quite inconvenient.
Okay.
But there are cases you can get that are compatible with the ring around it where you just slap it on and it connects. It doesn't charge as fast, but it's just a nice little thing. Basically, it's a hint of saying that Apple are going to go away from having any USB port at the bottom of their phone. It's just going to be a wireless thing. So there's going to be no ports on the phone at all.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that.
You'll get used to it. The same way how everybody got used to the headphone jack.
No button. Yeah, the headphone jack. Well, these, man, my God, game changer. The AirPods Pro.
They'd never work for me. I know they wouldn't work for me. My ears are like a weird shape. They won't fit.
Just using it, like, just
Indy
disclaimer in it.
Yeah. Everything has to come with a separate Indy package.
Absolutely. But these, you know, I've had many headphones. You know, I've had the Bose, I've had the Power Beats. These by far are the most functional. I'll tell you what I really love about them. With my other ones, it's like, say I got my phone here right on my left, I got my Pro, which we're recording on now, MacBook Pro. On the other one, if you connect to one device, you want to connect to the other one, you have to unconnect it and then pair it, and it's just long, man.
Oh, that's so hard for you, isn't it? Those extra 10 seconds. Oh, man.
No, but the functionality, right? Whereas this thing is just like, even, it's like on my other ones, they used to remember the last thing it was paired to. So like I'll be, I don't know, somewhere in the room and it's connected to TV, which is off. And I'm like, what is the point of that, man? So I got to then go on the TV to disconnect the device and it's just that pissed me off. So now this, any device, whatever I want to be connected right now will then supersede the previous device. Effortless, man.
I see.
Small things in life, man. These small things in life.
Small things in life.
And I like the case. The case is good because you charge the case itself.
And the case little flippy flap. I know people that just sit there and just fiddle with it. It's like
I did it today. I was on the call.
See?
And I had
you were sitting there, you were fiddling with it.
And it's quite sharp, but it's not sharp enough to cut you. But it's nice. It's like a nice stimulus. And I was there just like doing it. And I was like, and then it is quite nice, flippy. Since it's quite handy. You put them in your pocket. Apple did really well with that. I'm pretty impressed. And this is a guy, you know, who's just like completely anti-Apple for a long time.
Yeah, what happened with that? You just got caught in the loop, right?
My sister happened. That's what happened. So she got an AirBook. What's it called?
MacBook Air.
MacBook AirBook.
Jesus Christ, man. You're so old, right? Save the last dance.
Can I have one, AirBook. Please? AirBook, Apple, please, computer. Sorry, what was it called again? Not iPlay. I want to say MacBook Air. I want to say AirPlay now. MacBook Air, right?
Oh my God,
not iPlay.
You need another coffee, mate, right?
AirPlay. Yeah, I'm still recovering.
AirPlay's a thing.
AirPlay is awesome. We can talk about AirPlay as well. But the MacBook Air. So she gave me an old one. Like she had it from time when she was studying law, and I was like, "Nah, Windows. All about Windows. Windows." More because I didn't know how to use it. Like I always liked looking at it.
Yeah, it's the fear of learning a new
fear of learning, man.
User interface. Yeah,
because no schools use it. No schools are using Apple.
Most companies still don't either. They still use Windows, mainly because it's cheaper and accessible, and you can get lower bands.
Absolutely, cost for entry. But from a functionality point of view, it's awesome, man. Like so, then she gave me hers. And then I think Shindy got me a present. This MacBook Pro was a present when me and Parent opened the business, because I just needed more processing power.
Yeah,
that's what I thought anyway.
Are you sure about that? Are you sure it's not? Are you sure it's processing power? Are you sure you don't?
I think it just looks nicer. I think it's space grey. I was just like, then I got the matching, like, you know, I'll just show you here. Got the
of course you did. You got the matching mouse.
Right. Got the matching
matching keyboard.
Like, you know, you can have all the accessories, and this is really cool. I showed you, right? Look at this thing. So my wrists, your wrists don't hurt, man.
For those of you that can't see, it's the back of his back of his little keyboard, it raises it up. So you know how you get on a keyboard, you can get the little things at the back, you flick up and you push the keyboard down. You know, the thing in the office that's always missing at the back of the keyboard? Yeah, those.
That people break. Why do people... What kind of sick mind do you have to break those? And break one. If you don't break them, break two, man. Make it even.
No. People break one and leave it wonky, and I'm like, what are you doing? They're like,
what kind of sick...
You can just put a book under it. I'm like, who does that?
Why break it? Like, I'm there, and the first thing... Here's the other thing. Most people don't even know about that function. And some basic people where I work, I just like show it to them. It's like, mind blown. And I'll be there, so, kind of just... I know where it is. I'll put my finger there to try and flip it up. It's not there. It's not there, man. Then that's it. The day's ruined, man.
When you use a computer keyboard, do you wipe it down?
Yeah, you're supposed to. I don't know.
No, but in general, like, have you ever just got the keyboard and just turned it upside down and just tapped it out and seen the shit that falls out of it?
Nah, I just wash my hands after. That's kind of my...
Bro, it's so horrible to see. Like, you pull it out, you see crumbs, you see dead skin. Like, it's horrible because it just falls through the cracks, isn't it? The good thing about Mac is that it doesn't sink in. It just stops at the point.
Yeah, and the parent showed me this compressed air thing you can buy to get rid of crap. But what I basically have is a little portable brush with fine bristles, and I just on the keyboard.
Like an archaeologist, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's a really good example. It's a bit like that, yeah. I'm just excavating my keyboard. I'll tell you what was game changing.
Fuck me, what a life.
It's thanks to you, Indy, that I got the wireless keyboard. I can never come around to understanding the need for it, right? Until you had your home office set up, and then basically I had one of the old ones, right, which didn't have the number pad, so the smaller version of this.
The number pad, you know the little pad on the right hand side for numbers. That is such a difference maker.
So much,
because
right?
when I don't have it, and I have to type across the top of the keyboard. This is horrible, absolutely horrible.
It just feels a bit more presence with the proper size keyboard. But yeah, so before what I'd be doing, and guys, if you're listening, I'm going to act this out on the camera now. I'd be leaning in, right, to do all the typing, right?
Yeah.
Because I got my second screen, I got the mouse, that's fine.
Yeah.
We can talk about mouse versus trackpad. I think that's something that people have a bit of thinking about as well.
I prefer mouse, but that's me.
I'm a mouse guy. And then this keyboard, oh my God, like you can just move it anywhere, bring it close to you. I can't remember the last time I actually used the actual keyboard, unless I'm taking it like mobile and I don't want to carry the keyboard.
Yeah.
It's a game changer, man.
Bro, I was telling Sanj, I said, whenever we move and buy our own house, I said,
right,
the office setup is going to be insane. I've got it all mapped out in my head how I want it. I know exactly the things I'm going to get.
Tell me, go on, let's go.
Bro, I want to get these small little action figures and line them up across the edge of the desk. Yeah. Then I want to have my screen here. Yeah, I want to have one screen here, a big screen behind it that it projects up onto. Right, in case.
Right, so now are you using dual display there, or are you just
dual display? Yeah, dual display.
Okay, so two separate screens, but one bigger one.
Yeah, and if that doesn't work, I'll have them side by side, which is fine. Have a little stand for one, have that there. Have to be at perfect height. I don't want one being a little bit higher than the other. You have to have the flush finish. Yeah, that is necessary.
So what's your advice on then? Yeah, so I'm getting into this right now.
Or maybe 3 screens.
Videos.
Maybe 3 screens.
Ooh, Matrix level.
Now we're talking about 3 screens.
Okay, 3 screens is like, I'm trying to convince myself of the need for a third screen. I'm like,
or you can get an ultra wide screen. So the screen is ultra wide and it curves.
So Kenny has that.
Legit.
So Kenny, guys, he's my brother-in-law. He's got, oh my God, you like him. He's really into tech, right? He's like you.
Well, send me his setup, please. I love that. Send me his setup.
Electronic desk. So he likes standing.
The desk goes up and down.
Yeah, with a button. And so he stands and he goes down. He's got like a crane mic, right, for his calls. Then he's got the ultra wide screen.
Yeah.
And on there you can have multiple windows open.
Yeah.
I used it. Honestly, I'm not a fan. I still prefer separate screens. I don't like more than one window in a screen.
Yeah.
I like one window per screen.
No, I like doing dual screen. I like splitting things like half one, half there. If the screen is big enough.
Yeah.
If the screen is not big enough, I can't handle it. It annoys me. Because things start getting compressed and you can't see the menus properly. And now the functionality is just
then
gone,
you have to pull it across.
See what I mean? It's ball ache.
Sacrifice someone.
That's where the ultra wide screen comes in though. The curve in it as well. Oof.
Yeah, I still need to be sold on it.
But I need to get everything matching the same colour. The home office needs to have everything the same colour.
Space grey. Space grey.
Obviously. Everything space grey.
Yeah.
Everything has to be done. Perfect.
What's your advice on? So at the moment, I've got obviously got the MacBook Pro, which is 13-inch screen. Yeah. And then behind me over there, where I work on Mondays, is my Dell second screen monitor, which is like 27 inches. So it's obviously a different size.
Yeah.
How to get them on similar, like, what do you do? If the
I don't know.
screen's
I was going to probably just watch a bunch of YouTube videos of like tech people that actually make their own home office and just see what they get and just try and mimic it. But a lot of it, I think the biggest factor is you buy the big things first. So you've got your intangibles, which is your laptop. So that's not going to change, not for a while. And even if you do, you're probably going to get the same kind of laptop in the future, especially if it's set with Apple, right? Which is fine. And if that doesn't work and it comes in a different color, you can just put a skin around it. So you can put like a cover on it and put skins on it, which is cool. So, okay, fine. I'm going to then pick everything around the color of space gray. So the desk will be a gray or a white, potentially a gray, because that will work well. Then the screen will probably end up being like a light gray or a dark gray as well, just to make it offset a little bit. All the action figures, the keyboard and the mouse, and has to match perfectly. And then what else will I have? Then I'll have like a little shelf above. I have like a shelf above, and I'll have like all my games on there, and then I'll have like my little PlayStation there to the right of me.
Games being PlayStation games.
PlayStation games, yeah. So it'll be like my own little play area as well.
Oh, okay. So you're gonna game from the screen, yeah?
I'm gonna turn into an animal, straight up.
Tell me about the chair. You need a special chair for this, specialist equipment.
And I might have to get a special chair. Yes.
Like a gamer chair.
Yes.
Lazy boy.
Very well. No, it isn't a lazy boy. It's one of those chairs. It's like the one I'm sitting on, but it's like got that weird groove in it.
Yeah.
And it's like they got the weird little outline. I can't explain it unless you've seen it.
We need to get you hands-free hydration as well. Then.
Hands-free hydration. What?
Yeah,
just the beer helmet to come into my mouth.
Yeah. Or man, you don't want to go backpacking, right? I've got like the thing in the backpack. It's called a bladder.
I've seen you do this. I was like, this is ridiculous.
It's hardcore, mate. You got to commit. You got to commit to the wilderness, right?
Tell everyone how it works.
You need hands-free hydration. You know what I'm saying?
Tell everyone how it works. Right. So, guys, if you're an extreme hiker like me, right, if you like to get out and ramble, right, climb the big things, the big boys, then you need to use your hands. So what do? You buy a bladder. So a bladder is a plastic bag, much like the bladder in your body, and it holds water. So you fill it up. So the one I've got is a 3-litre water bladder. Sits in your backpack, and then it has tubing which comes out of your backpack. And then, hands-free hydration. So it's perfect. Game changer. And how do you take it away and stop like bacteria getting inside it and stuff?
Yep, excellent. So it's got like a knob on the end, which you have to unsheath to drink, and then you resheath.
Sheath.
Resheath.
So talking like a sword and that. Sheath.
Specialist terminology there, yeah?
I was thinking for this podcast, each week we should talk to you about like one doctor story. So one crazy thing you've seen as a doctor. So like whether it's like stupid diagnosis or random shit you've seen. So tell me one thing over your... How many years have you been a doctor now? Or since you started medicine? 10 years?
Yeah, a long time. Nothing comes to mind straight away, but if I know we're going to be doing this, then I can start being more mindful in the week.
One.
And be
like prep one a week and just have like, so we had this guy come in with this
on this week's episode of Indian Doctor,
yeah.
How jazz made the fatal error. No, not that. I'll think of some stuff. There's always funky stuff. I think the cool thing about medicine is...
What was the one about...
story.
Okay, here's one. How about the one of
you remember them.
The person that sat on something and they didn't tell you how it got up there.
Is it appropriate for the podcast?
It is appropriate for the podcast. Go on, tell it. We're all adults here. Right.
I think we're heading towards sodomy again, aren't we? I'll tell you what was really funny, just before we go there, is, our snippet about peeing on a plane or peeing in school.
Yeah.
I didn't realise I used the terminology magic compartment, and then somebody hashtagged it in the comment. Because I saw the hashtag and I was like, that's a really good hashtag. And then I rewatched the clip and I was like, oh, magic compartment. Oh, God. Where does this stuff come from?
Those of you that don't get it, have a look at the clip from last week on our Instagram. It's just a little clip that I take from the podcast every week. It's just like a way to get people interested. And it's going explaining how he peed in school. And it was some of the funniest shit I'd ever heard, man. I've never seen anything like it.
Authenticity, baby. This is what this podcast is about. We bring you real stories, real people. You can all relate to it. You're all thinking it. I just say it. That's the difference, right? And what you're going to learn in that clip is be very valuable to all the boys out there. We all have a secret compartment, a magic compartment, which allows us to... we talk about hands-free hydration. This is hands-pee urination.
Hands-pee Hands-free what?
Hands-free urination.
You said hands-free. I saw your lips. Shut up, man. I saw your lips. I saw your lips.
Listen to the audio.
Your lips,
right, guys.
your lips
when you're listening to this,
all right.
When you're listening to this, you write down in the comments, did I say P or free? Indy clearly is, audio.
Stop trying to capitalize on my deafness. Okay, stop working.
I'm gonna get you audio description.
You don't need to get me audio description. I am the audio description.
If you go to the cinema, do you need audio?
You know what's funny? Yeah, you're ripping into me for being the audio person. I fucking do the audio for the podcast, right?
You did.
So you can shut up, right? You're relying on a deaf person to check the audio of the podcast to do it all properly. Oh, the irony, man. When I go to the cinema, I actually prefer it if the subtitles are on. If not, I can make it out and it's cool. But I saw Tenet, and the sound leveling in that is horrific. I tried watching it and I couldn't hear things clearly.
Christopher Nolan, right?
Yeah.
He made Batman.
Yeah.
Right, and you'd expect it to be on point.
I think he did it on purpose, though.
What reason?
I don't know, but I think he did it on purpose because when you hear them talk, the audio in the background and the background soundtrack is just really loud. And I was hearing it and I was like, this is so tough to listen to. Like, I was really trying to struggle and I had to focus to make it out. And I was like, I wish I just had subtitles to turn on. But
do you use subtitles at home?
Yeah, all the time. Whether it's on Netflix or whatever, I love it.
You and you're in the same boat then.
Yeah, that way I don't have to turn the volume all the way up. Like, it makes me happy.
It makes you happy. Okay. Come back to our story then. So I had an elderly gentleman who'd rocked up in A&E. Okay, and his presenting complaint. That's always what we ask people when they first come in. It's basically like, why are you here? Which you think is an easy question to answer, right? But a side story, probably half of the patients I see, why are you here? I don't know. Right? And you'd think...
Someone brought me here. They left me at the door.
Yeah, no, that happens as well sometimes. But it's like, oh yeah, the doctor was concerned. This is the one I hear, right? And when they say doctor, they mean GP. All right. What was he concerned about? What was she just kind of concerned about? Oh, I don't know. It's like, this is your health, man.
What's on the letter?
You got to be asking questions. Yeah. Have you got a letter with you? No. Okay. Have you got pain anywhere? Then you just start there. You're just like, what's your problem? What's your problem, man? So anyway, this dude comes in, right? So he's an old timer. He's kind of pushing over 70, right? And he's like, oh, I haven't opened my bowels in a few days. So he's not done a poo. Have you noticed that our podcast is coming around poo and... No, we need to get away from that. So yeah, last story around this. Just be adding value to people's lives, man.
This is a funny story, though. It's adding value to people's lives.
It is, adding humour to the day. And she's like, I haven't opened my bowels. I was like, oh, okay, that's fine. Constipation is very, very common. So, again, being a doctor, guys, the UK diet, right? When I say UK diet, I mean, like, your traditional UK
English diet.
Which is very carby, a lot of chips. It's basically devoid of fibre.
Low fibre. Yeah, low fibre.
Right. Low fibre equals constipation. The number of people I've met who don't know what fruit is, and you think I'm exaggerating, like, just don't eat fruit. It's
they don't even understand what it is?
No, it'll be like, I ate fruit if, like, I'm at a wedding and it's like a feature. Like, I ate fruit at the start. Like, there are some people who don't incorporate fruit into their diet at all.
To be fair, I don't have fruit, but I have a lot of veg, so...
Okay, fine. Yeah, okay, fine. Same function. I enjoy fruit. You don't enjoy fruit? That's a bit weird. You can like fruit.
No, I get really bloated after having it. Like, I don't mind having it, but it's just, it makes me feel more full than I actually am. Which is great if I have to go somewhere quickly and I haven't eaten. Like, normally on like a warm day.
No, I mean, would you... Okay, this is a very Indian thing. So in Indian households...
When my mum cuts it up for me, you mean?
Right, yeah, but when is it given? Before dinner or after dinner? This is the question.
Before dinner, always.
So that is the correct thing, but a lot of people...
Just like a way to tie you over until dinner.
Well, actually, it prepares your gut, right? It's saying food is coming.
That's a secondary thing.
It should actually make you, like, a bit more hungry, right?
Yeah.
But a lot of people, they have fruit after dinner as, like, the dessert, which we did for years, man. And then our nani being mum's mom, in India was like, you're supposed to eat the fruit before dinner. Like, that's the way you do it. Game changer, man. Anyway, coming back to the point. So yeah, fruit. Most people in the UK don't eat fruit, don't eat too much veg, a lot of potato, a lot of carbs. And so constipation is just rife, man. Like the number of people that come in and have kind of abdominal pain, tummy pain, is really, really high. And so, you ask the usual questions. How often do you do poo? What kind of
How often do you normally go? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Because again, I kid you not, there's some people like, yeah, I go once every 3 weeks. I'm like, okay, mate.
I've heard some people do that. Some people hold it in because they don't like going and they just let it out in one long day. And I'm like, you're nuts, man.
You must be pooing all day, man. But there's some things I'm just be like, okay, you clearly just chatting it now. But, he was normal. He said I have normal bowel frequency, whatever. There's no blood. And then the next question I always ask is, are you farting? Right? Very important medical question.
Why is that important?
Right. So imagine the garden hose pipe, yeah?
Yeah.
Imagine that is your large bowel. So the pipe represents your large bowel.
Yeah.
Now, imagine I put a rock in there, right? Okay. And the rock is now stopping everything above it, i.e. the poo, or the water in this case, coming through past that point. Right? The end of the pipe is your bum, your rectum, that's where poo comes from. So if you have what we call obstruction, right? There's a blockage in your bowel for some reason, okay? And it's stopping the poo coming out. Obviously, you're like, I'm not pooing, I'm constipated. But then the question to ask is, are you farting? Is it so blocked that even air can't get through, or is air still able to get through? Very important question, because it tells us about the degree and the severity of the blockage, right? If you're still able to fart, good sign. Good sign. Here's the thing. If you're not able to poo, where do you think the poo goes?
It just sticks in your bowel.
Right, and then goes where?
It builds and builds and builds, it expands. What, you throw it back up? Oh, no, disgusting.
Fecal meaning feces, vomitus, vomit. You can actually, it's making you go now, isn't it? Right. God, there we go. You wanted medical, baby. I'm giving you medical.
You know what? I asked for this, so go on, tell me.
You did ask for this. This is called fecal vomitus. So you're basically pooing, you're vomiting your poo. So that's not good. Anyway, he didn't have these signs, but his tummy was a little bit soft, a little bit tender. And I was like, okay, so, we're going to do a few blood tests. We'll do an x-ray to see any blockages, are you full of poo, and that kind of thing. Part of the examination, after feeling the tummy, is you use your stethoscope and you listen for what we call bowel sounds. Churning, right? To check that the bowel is trying to work. It's trying to push the stuff through. And
just a quick side note, right? How big can your bowel expand to?
Oh, very good question. So it depends on if you're talking about small bowel or large bowel. The small bowel can expand up to 9 centimeters, whereas your large bowel can expand up to 11 centimeters before it goes pop.
Fucking hell. And that's width or length?
No, width. Length, we never talk about length. It's long anyway, the bowel's very long. But the width, right? So there are certain conditions where, so one condition is called toxic megacolon. It's just huge.
It's not that big.
Yeah, it's big, man. It's very big. And obviously at that point, when it gets to that point, it's at risk of just popping, which we call perforation, which is then life-threatening. You need an operation. You're probably going to die if you don't do something very quickly. Wow, so a lot of things can happen to the human body, right? Let's just not think about it. Or nurse, that's the wrong advice from a doctor. You need to preserve your body by doing exercise and eating the right things. Be mindful about what you put in your body, right?
Yes.
That's the thing to think of. So listen to his bowel sounds. And I can appreciate the bowel sounds, but there is this other secondary noise. Bzzz, bzzz,
what the hell?
Bzzz, right, this is vibrating type of sound, right? Like as if there's something there. And I was like, what the hell is inside this man, right?
Like and
the usual, and you ask the usual questions like, if you anything happened to your bottom, right? Have you eaten something that's got stuck? That happens. Sometimes people eat things and they get stuck in weird places. I have people come in who eat batteries, and then the batteries get lodged. Yeah, man.
People eat batteries.
Yeah.
Why do you eat batteries?
Yeah, they're not very well people, the ones that do it. And then I had someone recently who had battery ingestion actually, and then generally they should just move through your bowel and just pop out in your poo. So we had to do what we call serial x-rays, so an x-ray every day to see the movement and see where it is.
Wow.
But if it gets stuck, again, then we may need to go in, fish them out.
So when you pass that, it comes out as a full battery?
Yeah, pretty much. Because it's not made to be degraded by the body's
No, it's
juices.
not. The stomach acids ain't going to do shit to that.
Yeah, I don't think it'd be completely intact. I think it'll be but obviously that's worrying, because if that breaks down and releases the stuff in your body, again, big trouble, man. It's the stomach, you know. If when you swallow something, if it's still in your stomach, you can put a camera down and fish it out. Once it gets beyond the stomach, then it becomes hard. Then it's in your bowel, and then you gotta wait till it comes out.
Yeah.
Anyway, so people eat weird things. So we asked him, like, do you eat things? No. Having anything weird? I was like, okay, it's fine. So we did the abdominal X-ray, tummy X-ray, and so here's a bit of teaching about X-rays. So you've had an X-ray before, Indy?
Yo, I don't know. Potentially.
Do you remember which part of your body?
No, I do. When I fractured my fifth metatarsal. Yeah, then.
Right, your foot, yeah?
Yeah.
Do you remember looking at your X-ray?
Yeah, I looked at it afterwards. The doctor was a knob. He wouldn't let me see it. I was like, it's my fucking X-ray. Show it to me. He's like, no. Yeah. And I'm like, well, show it to me. He's like, no. I said, I want to see it. He's like, okay, fine. Pulls the screen to me, and I said, right, what am I looking at? He's like, I was like, just show me, man. I've never had this done before, right? I want to feel the novelty. Make me feel special, okay? And he's like, that little line, he said, this tiny line is your fracture, hairline fracture. I said, thank you. That's all I need to know.
That's good, man. I often try and involve my patients. It's patients who take responsibility for their health, are invested in understanding, are less likely to come to hospital, right? Because they will do the right things.
Education, knowledge is power, Dr. Chasman.
Oh, there you go, man. So you've been listening to my stuff, man. Very good. And
who edited your shit for years, you bastard? Right?
Yeah, he knows it all, man. He knows all the secrets. Right, so on your X-ray, what colour are bones?
White.
Perfect, right? And the reason why bones are white in an X-ray is because bones are dense, light comes through, well, the X-ray comes through, it can't go through the bone, which is opaque, and therefore you get the image, right?
Yeah.
That's the basics of X-ray. So on this guy, we saw a large white object. So something is just clearly opaque and not allowing, it's not a bone, obviously, it's in the wrong place, not allowing the light to go through. Okay? Now, I'm going to leave this to listeners to work out what it is. But essentially, this gentleman had a vibrating large object in his bowel, which had been inserted from his back passage. That's all I'm going to say. And you can work out what kind of a device this is. And I'm sure if you don't know, you can reach out to Indy, who has a particular expertise in this genre of... Indy's really into tech, and this is, I think, an area of his tech
that is hilarious. But every time you tell me that story, it still gets me. So what did you say to him after that?
Yeah, so we'll change the name. Not that I remember the name anyway, but it's like, Mr. Jones, so here's your X-ray. This thing right here shouldn't be there. That's why you're not being able to poo. Right, so we think it's a vibrating mechanical device. Do you remember? You got to keep it PC. Do you remember inserting or sitting
inserting
on
this into your anus? Yes.
Right, from your back passage, and you get the usual response, which is always, "Oh, I fell on it." Right? Everybody's excuse. I don't know how you fall on that. Like, you're in the
how do you
position.
fall on it naked? Hang on, let's break it down. How do you fall onto that naked, completely naked? First of all, it has to be in the perfect angle to go in.
This is like, on a landing zone.
Oh, man.
Do you know what I mean? Dude, just pause 1 second, yeah?
Go on. Okay, so back again, because Karan had to shoot out. So, yeah, go on, carry on.
So keeping it PC. Sir, Mr. Jones, you got this large mechanical vibrating device. And as you were saying just then, the precision at which, the angle at which you have to land on, think of like an airplane landing. Like, you need to have signal people here, right? You need lights.
Oh my God.
This does not happen by accident. That's the point. But again, you can't incriminate, right? This is a very sensitive issue.
Of course you can't.
Somebody of this, and then your mind kind of wanders to, what was he thinking, man? What is it that he was trying to achieve at this delicate age with such a large
He
device?
probably wanted to know what it felt like.
Yeah. So again,
curiosity,
intrigue, right? Yeah. And then his wife comes in.
He had a wife.
He had a wife. This is pre-COVID, right? And that conversation. You draw the curtains. The curtains.
You can still hear it. The curtains give you no privacy.
Do you know what I mean? Like, okay, this is hospital, and she's just going in on him. He again, can't remember his name. John, I'll leave you at home for 10 minutes. Come back. You put this up your ass. It's just a funny conversation, man. When it was finally removed, right?
You know what's funny, right? I'm just thinking that must have been there because it was hers.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that ownership. Not sure.
Oh, okay.
When it was finally retrieved and removed, there was a condom on it.
Oh, wow.
We don't know why. But again, his planning and preparation here was full. And
did you give it back to him?
That's certainly one for the for the grandkids, maybe. I don't know.
Did you give it back to him so you could take it home as like a
it's not our property, is it? We don't keep it.
You gave it back to him on one day.
Well, we put it in a bag and then kind of left it on the table, and so it's up to you two. You can do what you want with it.
How do you extract that?
Let's not go into that. But it was extracted. He didn't require an operation. That can sometimes happen.
Okay, so you can pretty much guess how it was extracted then.
Yeah. So that is the medical anecdote for this month.
This week, mate. I love this. We should do more of this, man. They don't even have to be funny. They can be quite serious, but still, like that's the best one you've ever told me, and it still cracks me up.
Yeah. Listen, man. It's no day is the same, man. Just like I said earlier, everybody has a story, and they'll come in and they'll tell you their story. And it's just, I think that's what I love about the job, man. It's just not what I just told you, but it's just fun, man. It's just problem solving. It's just somebody has an issue. It's like with life, right? Where you can have an issue. To you, it's a big issue. To me, it might be a small issue. But in that role, that job, my job is to alleviate you of that stress, that problem, right? Or for you to understand what we can do and what we can't do, and alter maybe your expectation. No day's the same. No day's the same. I'm going to take a separate now. That was quite an ordeal.
And you want to go from that to coaching. Bro, I would never want to swap that out. That seems like an entertaining job, man. I know those cases are few and far between, but still.
Yeah, true. But I do remember I want to do both. And even the coaching, what is the premise of coaching? We talk about it all the time. It's helping somebody deal with problems, but it's a different problem to solve. Where traditional medicine
is physiological and you're trying to deal with the mental. I get it.
That's it. Man, you know all this stuff. You know all this stuff. Even at the house party, man, I had somebody approach me, one of our friends, very interested in the coaching, right? And he listened to our podcast with Dino. There you go, see? Fed back to Dino this morning as well. So look, somebody listened to the podcast and the snippet and was like, yeah, this is it. And it's just about spreading that message and showing people that there is value in doing this stuff.
How was the podcast last week? Oh, go on.
Yeah, no, just thinking about that. Podcast last week was good. So being on with your sibling is always interesting because you know each other off camera, off podcast, and then you come on and then you're like,
see how that adds a little bit different.
Well, yeah, and you're like, I can say some things, we're not going to say some things. But I thought it was quite funny. We were quite authentic and we got into some things and you could see and hear some sibling rivalry, which is always funny. I think at some point in the future you should bring your siblings on. That'd be interesting as well. But I'm waiting for your dad.
That won't go well.
Like your dad.
Well. You know what?
The picture of your dad that Sanj put in the group. Oh my god!
So basically, for context,
you are a carbon copy.
Sorry. So for context, right? What happened was Sanj came to my grandma's house, and my grandma has all these pictures on the wall. And with these pictures, some of them are like of my mum and dad when they're really young and they just got married. And there's a picture of my dad on the wall, and everyone says that he looks like me. Sorry, I look like him.
Well, you look like him.
And everyone says like Indy's got a time machine, like he just goes back in time. I'm like, what? I went back in time and married my mum. Are you dumb? Right? So, so I saw it and I was like, okay, I kind of see the resemblance. And Sam said to my grandma, and she said, "Is that Indy?" Sorry, she didn't say it to my grandma. She even said it to my mum. Said, "Is that Indy?" Like, it's a pretty old picture. And my mum was like, "No, that's his dad." And Sam just like, oh my God, that's actually uncanny. And she then said, look at your dad, that's your future. I said, I'm not going to turn into my dad and look like that, but thank you very much. I appreciate the honesty.
You can't say never, but you in that picture, or your dad in that picture, oh my God, like his bug is on point, guys, his turban's on point, his smile's on point, his eyes are on point, man. I was looking at the eyes for ages.
Okay. So the eyes.
What's the story?
So there's a thing in Punjabi culture called surma, which is where you put eyeliner on. So we used to do Bhangra competitions. He was wearing on his wedding day, yeah. But also his eyes look different because in some of the pictures they coloured his eyes in because a lot of the colours came out. Sorry, a lot of the pictures were in black and white. You have to colour it in. So they coloured his eyes like a very light colour of blue. A light colour of brown to make his eyes look really clean. And I'm like, Dad, your eyes don't look like that. He's like, yeah, they do. I said, no, they don't. No, I'm looking in your eyes right now. They don't look like that. Yeah.
Again, I haven't met your dad, so I'd love to see what it looks like now.
You know what?
To that photo.
Straight up, just pop by one of the days and just come and say hi to him. Seriously.
That's it.
Because him and Mum have both stopped working now. So seriously, just pop by for one evening and just come and sit and chat to him, and he'll love it. He'll tell you all the stories, and you'll be like sitting there and like, tell me more, Uncle.
That's it, man. I'm like, Uncle, you need to teach your son, huh?
What do you mean, teach me what, man? I'm teaching him.
He's wayward. He talks all this marketing and the other stuff. He doesn't understand marketing properly. He needs to learn how to clean the windows. He will not clean the windows. He's too stubborn.
Oh God, man. Dad loves it. He lives for it. He lives for stuff like this. He was out cutting the grass on the weekend. I'm like, you're too old for this. But he had 2 helpers, like some guys from India, to come and help him sort out the grass. Where they come from? I don't know where they came from. They're friends of his or something. They're not friends, but they're workers, isn't it? So he had
picks up the phone.
He picked up the phone.
Big Daddy Kara is like, yo.
Picks him up in the morning on Saturday morning. Makes him work in the garden. He cuts the grass with him, sorts out the garden, and then sends him back on Saturday night. Picks him up again Sunday, same again. Another garden sorted, and I was like, okay, cool. If you got your people, you got your people, innit? But he lives for stuff like that.
Who are your people, man? How are you going to be calling on people like that?
I'm not going to.
So when you need stuff doing, what are you going to do?
I'll probably get a gardener. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what he does, gardener.
No, but I will get like a normal gardener. I'll be like, you come and sort this out.
Oh, I know what you're saying. You're going to get a white gardener. That's what you mean. Okay.
Yes.
We're not too good enough for you, are we? Huh?
No. Give me a Dave. I know at least he's done it.
Dave, you're a good old bobble Dave.
At least I know he's done it. I'm like, I can see you proof of your work. The problem with those guys is that my dad shows them what to do and they do it. It's not like they're gardeners. It's like, we just actually work. And Dad's like, okay. Dad's like, get on your knees, right, and plant these seeds in the grass. So they're like crawling in the grass, putting seeds in. And I'm like, Dad, there's surely got to be a more efficient way than this. He's like, this is how we do it in India. I was like, okay, I'm not going to question you. This is your zone. This is your mantra. That's seriously, so man, this is what he's like, right?
On your knees. But
bro, I emptied the boot of my dad's car a second ago, yeah, and I had to put something in it, and I pulled out. He's got an X5. I pulled it out, and he's got all this shit stuffed in the side of the door. He had foot cream in there. He had batteries. He had toothpicks. He had like random oil. I was like, okay, car oil, I understand. He had elastic bands. He had rogue wires like that were just like that. The edges of it could potentially electrocute. I'm like, Dad, what's this? He said, you never know when you need it. I said, this is literal junk. You can throw this shit in the bin. I said, when have you pulled over on the side of the road and said, you know what I need? I need a toothpick. Let me go in the boot of the car and get the toothpick out. Like, honestly, the hoarding is too much, man. And just the stupid shit.
It's a very common thing where people think. We talked about it earlier during the podcast about when people overpack.
But they think one day I'm going to need it, and when I need it, I will be validated, right?
Right. Yeah. I'm of the opinion now. It's like, I'll tell you what else is like frustrating. You might have a system for this. But say you want to order something. Let's say an iPhone screen cover, right? You could order more than one, but then my problem comes: where do I store the 2 additional screens, right? And then remember where they are. I think the best system I've sat into now is I order when I need things because Amazon is next day delivery. Order it, use it, don't store any shizzle on.
No, I store it because I order 3 normally because I know I'm going to fuck up the first one. And then the second one's the real one, and the third one's like game time pressure. If you fuck this up, you're going to have to spend another £10. So yeah, I get it. I have like a little set of drawers, and I put my little like odd bits and bobs in there in the drawers.
So designated, yeah. So I have
I have like designated space. I don't leave it lying around the house. I can't do it. Because then shit goes walkies, and then you get pissed off when it goes walkies. Like today, I couldn't find my comb because it had gone walkies, and I was like, I left it here. It was there, and it's gone.
Right. Where is it now? You found it?
Nope. Don't know where it is.
Your dad's got it.
No, I asked Dad. He doesn't know where it is. I asked Mum. She doesn't know where it is.
Listen. I know where it is. So you know your dad's boys, yeah, the labourers. They didn't get paid. That's what he did. He's like, oh, no, and he presented like with two hands, like, special gom India to, right? He made up
special comb from India.
Individual.
This is India's comb. I'm giving it to you.
That's where it's gone, bro. This is your payment.
Man. This is your payment. Oh God, I get worried that whenever those guys are here, they're flipping. What's the British version of the IRS? Immigration are going to show up and take them away.
Right. So I remember
I get worried about this
program I watch, The Office.
Yeah.
The American Office, and in there's a character called Dwight. He's one of the funny guys.
Yeah, I remember that.
He owns a building at the end of the series. And what he does is this. Yeah, each morning he goes and he picks up immigrant workers, Mexicans.
Yeah.
And then basically what he says, when he's about to pay them, they get a mysterious phone call.
Yeah.
Immigration services, and then they just run away. And
they don't run away.
Yeah,
have
you watched that program on like Sky?
They get taken away. Mate.
UK Border Force. Have you watched that program on like Sky? UK Border Force.
No.
Huh?
No.
You ever seen UK Border Force?
No.
Oh, dude, it's exhilarating, man. This program, so
it's exhilarating. Wow, descriptive word there, man. Oh, it makes my heart rate jump, man.
Listen, if you play Scrabble with me, you'll learn it. It's all about the words, man. The fallacy is that Scrabble isn't about big words. When I got into the game, I thought it was about making sexy words.
It's not about big words.
No,
it's about
tactical. Tactics, man. You make all
small board games are tactics. All board games are tactics.
You got to be able to make off-board deals.
Even playing like any card game, all tactics. You can hold the best cards and you can still fuck it up.
What you need to be able to do is negotiate and offer something that's not on the board. You understand what I'm saying?
Here we go.
You understand, Indy? You understand what I'm saying? Okay. If I want to go rent-free in Monopoly, I will go rent-free in Monopoly. It's all in the mind. Okay? If I've got some Jordan sneakers that I know you want, and I'm going to offer them to you, right? For a safe passage.
How do you know my size? How do you know my size?
I'll tell you how I know your size. Manny told me on the weekend.
What's my size?
I don't know, but he told me. Or he would tell me if I needed to know.
Oh, he would tell you because he knows, isn't he?
I've got a solution. He does. He said he knows. Or Sidhu would tell me. I've got solutions, man. I know people. I'm like your dad. I can bring people. Right? I can get stuff on Indy. I can bring people. I know people.
You know, the common answer is the next time you come to mine, I'll just look in your fucking shoe. You thicko, right?
It's not the same. It's not the same thrill, the exhilaration, right?
Exactly.
I tell you, you know what we were trying to do, and you messed up the whole thing. That last game of Mafia.
Yeah, it was great.
Where Manny had cheated, right? And he knew I was Mafia.
I don't like people who cheat in Mafia.
No, listen. But he knew I was Mafia, right? What we were actually trying to do was to swap your card for the ace. And then when you got called out and you're like, oh, it's not me. And then you turn the card around, it's the ace. But you, little Sado, you picked up your card and you're holding it next to your chest like this. Like, my card.
Because I saw what Manny was doing. He's sitting next to me. And this guy's trying to be all like subtle. He's 6'6" or something, right? Trying to be subtle with his big ass hands on the table, like, oh, I'm just playing. Let me just nick your card. I'm like, no, give it back. What are you doing? What an idiot, man. You guys are bad, honestly.
Anyway, coming back to the original point, I actually value that skill set now that your dad has, right?
Which one?
So the ability to let's go to the system. You know, pre-money. Money is, a vehicle for exchanging value. Pre that, what do? We used to barter, right? So I get a lot of work for a lot of people. So for example, like my PT, I'll give to a lot of people. I've referred 5 people to my PT. I've put him in a BNI. I've been very sick. I've given him my accountant. That benefits me because then he sorts me out with stuff that he can offer me, right? And in the same way, I think having your dad's system where if he has a skill set, or if I have a skill set that I've offered to somebody, then rather than taking payment or giving payment in some scenarios, I think there's a big thing to be said about valuing barter. I think it's a skill set everyone should develop.
Yeah, it's a skill set that everyone should have, to be fair, yeah. That is important.
But you have to have something to offer. Okay? There has to be some value exchange.
This is why you play Monopoly.
This is why you play Monopoly, but real life Monopoly, I think he was telling Sidhu, me and Sidhu, a guy's another one of our friends, we actually sort of share the same first name, which is why in that circle, he's not called Karan, I'm not called Karan. So nobody gets called Karan, but he becomes Sid and I become Doctor. So
yeah, exactly.
No one wins in that scenario.
Yeah.
Anyway, we were chatting about property investing, and I was giving him a little example about, we talked about with Caroline about systems and processes, and I have a good letting team a couple of hours away that manage my properties, right? But the thing I said to him is, look, the owner of the letting agents, right, at some point he needs some medical advice about his partner, right? It's hard to get this stuff informally if you're not having an appointment, unless you have a friend, right? So he had a chat with me. He's like, Jazz, can you help me with a few things? More than happy, right? Me giving medical advice, if it's within my area of expertise or competence, very easy. It's not a lot of work for me, right? You can pick up the phone, like, you give some advice, bang, that'll save you chasing and trying to find things to get an appointment. But that then means, on his end, my value's increased. So when I need things property related, oh, Jazz got a deal, I'm going to offer this to you first. Oh, Jazz, you got a problem? I'm going to personally deal with this for you, right? That's the value.
It's leverage. It's leverage.
Yeah, baby. That's another word for it. I love that word. My doctor coaching clients. Often, you know how you guys quote me about authentic living and highest. I don't even know what I say.
You mean the shit that you say yourself? Yeah.
That's stuff, right? Right, dude. We need to pause again. Yeah.
Karan takes more piss breaks than I do, man. Honestly, he just left me and now he's back again. Thank you.
Because we talked about, didn't we, the bladder, right?
Yeah.
If I drink 3 liters of water, what do you think is going to happen? Now, this is the problem, man. On my business day, I constantly drink water after my coffee. And then I constantly pee. And Dino, one of our guests, he often remarks, after this podcast, actually, I've got a meeting with him. And he often remarks about how many toilet breaks I have to take as well. Little man, little bladder. So...
there you go.
Is what it is, isn't it? And once again, talking about we again, we should just rebrand the podcast, Indie Doctor and the Tales of the Wee.
Tales of the Wee, piss and shit. Yep, let's go.
Yeah, that's it. That's good. Well, we were looking for our audience and our niche.
I think we're finding it now.
I think
no, we're not. Now. I'm sorry. We will stop doing this and we will start making it more normal about other things. Promise. Okay.
We all do it, man. It's normal.
Yeah, it's a natural bodily function. Okay, right. I'll wrap it up there. Chat soon, Karan. Guys, if you like this, please like, comment, share, subscribe, and drop us a message if you liked us talking about poo stories. I'm kidding. If you like us actually talking about this stuff. And the new edition of the segment, which is Doctor Stories. I'm going to try and get that added any time that we talk, because he's got a lot to share. Shit that we don't hear, that we're like, oh, that actually happens. Yeah, it happens.
Are you for real?
Let us know what you think the vibrating object is. Only wrong responses. Thank you.
Oh my god.
Only wrong responses.
We're going to get banned, man.
Not the correct answer, only wrong responses. Thank you.
Social media is going to get banned.
Yes, it will. Okay, right. Chat to you soon.
Right, lovely.
See you soon, man.
Speak soon.